We are live.
Let's go in session together.
Mhm.
Our meeting, call it in session. What are we gonna talk about? Juvenile facility.
Where did we leave off the last time?
I know, it was last year.
6 months.
Refresh.
It seems like it's been forever since. Been
Yeah.
meeting. Seems like
So I think, did you all have a copy of what? Did you get a
Maybe at the
copy?
last meeting, do you want me to pick up the content?
And they did, Ron did send the project plan, with the outline time frame, which I thought was extremely helpful. I mean, even a few questions I had in my head from the last meeting that answered some of those, for sure. So we did receive that email as well with the, project plan.
Is that it?
Yes. Yes. Maybe one of the first questions was timeline as well. It looks like, their hope would be January of 2027. I was a little unsure
Open in,
as far as opening and
Yeah.
actually taking it with the mindset of the beginning with eight, at least 8 girls. I don't.
Yeah.
I guess we don't say men and women. Yes, 8 males, 8 females. But this definitely answered a few questions that I had.
she has some,
It is getting.
some copies of that has some cost estimates on it, because I think it's gonna depend on how many are there. But, I mean, we do know that. Once again, where we have to send a juvenile is 3 hours away. And that's just, while that doesn't really show up in the cost, it is a cost to the county about 2 officers going with them and then coming back and then going back to pick them up and coming back. And so it's just, it was hard on those officers. Plus, what, Josh, yeah, it is Josh, not Jason. Josh said was, away from family is not, and not. I wouldn't think, well, I don't know, but at least gives those juveniles that are in detention an opportunity to have the family come and visit them, or as if they're 3 hours away.
City or Hamilton, or they're not gonna drive up there, grandma and grandpa's not gonna drive up there to visit,
I learned
which is usually the case.
the last meeting for surgeon in regards to, we knew what, our judges have had to ask for additional appropriations, for, again, looking at the cost, measures, and I feel, beneficial from a cost standpoint. But I've learned, I had no idea, for example, like the Marion County facility will not take anybody out of their county. And, we mentioned, the average number of beds, and this one's always full. And then obviously the research, I think that Ron and others have done to ask questions in regards to our neighboring counties that are in the same pickle as us and spending the same dollars. So if this was approached as more of a regional type facility, then again, I know our mindset should be, how can we make money, but,
Well,
get more convenient for local families and cost savings. Yet, I mean, it sounds like we certainly would be a benefit to other counties and help cover our cost.
So if you guys considered, I know I had talked on a one-off basis with maybe you, Bobby, or maybe Ron, I can't remember after the meeting. Have we considered, asking for grant money from maybe some local nonprofit organizations to support us in getting the building facility ready, preparation and supporting from public assistance?
No, because we don't have a hard and fast number. What it's gonna take.
So I don't know if Ron got, I know he was trying to get another estimate from the other contractor. I haven't heard from him. I think he's got a few other things on his mind right now, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
certainly.
and then, so I think once we get a number like that, then I think, yeah, we can look around to see what's
Like,
available. I think we have
Bethany, like you
some
said, yeah.
ARP money that was set aside for that, so we have some stuff that I think we can get started. And, but yeah, I don't,
And when Bethany Legacy at the beginning of 2025, tail end of 24, announced that kind of the majority of their projects and kind of the scope of the yearly funding would be focusing on mental health. And obviously it's branched out. That doesn't mean that funding to help with the DuPont Park project, because time and nature, kids playing, it is a mental health stress. So there certainly have been some things that, some could be critical and able to stretch, but definitely fall under that whole wellness and mental health umbrella. I know one of my meetings with them was, this is not a 1-year project, by the way, so we're not going to fund things in 2025 and then let go of that mental health mindset. Will continue, and obviously the grant dollars are there. So I do have a feeling they know the need as involved as they are in some other youth fund projects. So I do think if a concrete dollar, if it was $500,000 that was needed for the refurbishment itself, it would not surprise me if they're very open to discussion.
Right, especially when you're getting these young children in these juvenile facilities, to being able to maybe right the ship and mental health and the services that they provide, and maybe correcting that, and, they have these kids, their life changed through family services and all the different things that go along with the, I don't know. Would be great. I mean, it is. They've done a wrong, but maybe it can be changed.
Sure, I mean, I think it's
I
just
know
like
it's
you,
a correctional facility.
yeah, but still, I mean, just like when we built the new jail, we knew we had to do some things outside of just housing inmates, that we had to try to stop them coming back, so same kind of thing. I mean, this, you would think you'd maybe have an earlier chance to do something, and maybe more long lasting than what we get there. I mean, we have some opioid settlement money too that we could use for some, to get things started, so I think it's.
Can I ask maybe a question for everybody in the room? Obviously, our focus, of course, in our job is the financial side of things, but I'm just curious, as we all know, when we begin talking about possible locations for the jail, lots of folks in the community, taxpayers wanted to have some input, because of course, as we know, they didn't want it in the neighborhood, and my mindset was, it's on Main Street right now, so it's gotta go somewhere. But same thing, I guess I'm curious, I have certainly chatted with a few folks in the community about this. I personally have yet to talk with somebody who does not want this in the old jail. Obviously, most people that I hear, the mindset is that building needs to be used for something, so I think they're thrilled with a possible project. But I do have a feeling that some people in this room have heard criticism that, that's not appropriate use for
Right.
that, or we don't need that expense, or that doesn't belong on Main Street. I guess I'm just curious, has
The only
anyone heard
feedback
that?
that I've had is that there's disappointment that we have to have a juvenile facility, and they didn't realize that there was such a need for it. But then the other thing they said, well, if we have a juvenile facility, is where's the space where they can be able to have access to the outside? And I said, well, they will be, I'm sure, that will be taken care of.
I have an answer to that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
But that was the only concern. I mean, were the questions that came up to me is, they didn't realize that there was a need, and they didn't realize that we were taking, juveniles that were incarcerated so far away from this county, and that their parents weren't having immediate access to them because they were so far away. So when they found that out, but then their second follow-up question is, if we're gonna put them in the old jail, are they gonna be able to have access to space outside, because that jail has not? So,
Well, actually, I called Mr. Nichols, Josh Nichols, and I asked him about that because I remember you asking about that, Heather. And he said that the outside facility would be within concrete walls, so there's only so much room, you can move out in the lawn there, or whatever you want to call it,
Sure.
courtyard. So it's going to be surrounded by courtyard the recreation area or
I
whatever
mean,
that
there's a
is.
rec area in the old jail now.
Yeah,
It's
but they
kind of,
may, if they do it, don't put.
right. I mean,
And maybe that's all they get in other juvenile facilities, I don't know.
Well, the guidelines for them is more stringent than the inmates at the jail,
Okay.
Oh, is it?
by far. Line of sight, sound, you know, you can't, there's no interaction, intermingle.
Oh, okay.
I had another question. Now, this is structured very well incrementally. I mean, as best as it can be done at this time, I would say. But my big question, there was some reference to whether we would take some kids or juveniles from Kentucky counties, and there's nothing, this is not a, doesn't have anything to do with our good friends at the Commonwealth of Kentucky, but Josh said I could speak for him in saying that he would probably prefer the 8 men and women coming from the state of Indiana, and as there's plenty of them, that wouldn't happen, because there could be some legalities, you know, coming across state lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so he assured me that as far as he was concerned, that the children or whatever would be coming from the state of Indiana. To cut the red tape possibly.
yeah, well, I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think, like we said, we've talked to neighboring counties and they're like, when you open? I mean,
Yeah.
that's their first question. So, I mean,
Jennings and Scott and Ripley, like,
Yeah.
give us a date, so.
I don't think there would be any openings for, you know, for
Yeah,
others.
you know, in a perfect world, you want, you know, even your neighboring states, close as we are, but, you know, I think there's plenty of need for, especially when we just looking at 16, that we'd have that, you know.
And like you said, there's the legalities that are involved in all of that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, since,
One of the concerns and one of my constituents had was, they said, well, you know, is this gonna be similar to the jail situation where we were told we were gonna have 300 beds and we could make money off the other counties by them coming to us? I don't think we've made any money off of anybody coming to us at this point. And they said, is that gonna be a similar situation with juvenile coming in from other counties? Or is that just fluff to try to promote or sell the project?
Well, as far as I know, Ben hasn't taken an inmate from out of county.
Yeah,
right,
that's what I'm saying. That was their concern. Is that the outside inmates that we were supposed to get when they first started talking about the new jail project, back when it first started, that was what was kind of picked up by the public when they thought, well, you know, we'll have so many extra beds, the jail will pay for itself with inmates from counties. So now they're concerned that is this gonna be a similar situation with juveniles that will be taken in enough to help offset some of the expenses?
I would think he'd have to.
And I do still feel like, I agree, Ray, I definitely feel like it, for me, I look at it as a 2-tier. If it's still even if we only took Jefferson County juveniles, if it's still a cost savings, it's still beneficial. I mean, obviously the secondary goal then, you know, just like all of the dollars we're saving by not sending adult inmates out, you know, where we were overcrowded and forced to pay that per diem per day. And now we're not having to pay that, even though you're right. We were quote promised or told that we would certainly have this space and be able to take folks from out of county. I guess for me, even with this juvenile facility, I still look at it as most important as a quote serving our county and a cost savings for residents of our county. And then hopefully secondary would be
I would agree
filling
with
additional
you.
beds.
But
and maybe
is
$1 million
it fair to say that this is different in the fact that this is essentially Josh is the subcontract company? We would not necessarily be running the
Correct.
facility.
Correct.
We would have an agreement, so I guess the taxpayers would not necessarily be out the operational money, just the getting up and running. Like the payroll of it,
Sure, we wouldn't
right, the
be,
expenses of
So it's,
that.
goes on a department like for the taxpayers, it's not a department share.
But I mean,
The share.
sure, I mean, I think his, if you look at it on the back page, he had some. And he picked $500,000, even the one bid that we did get was not that
No.
much, so but still, if we had to spend that much, he's saying that, eventually in the 27th month, you'd start making money. And once again, we're gonna make money on that, but I think the thing to know, we're not gonna be losing money, that's the thing that we don't want to do, and I don't know if you hear some of these stories about, if you wanna go to Dearborn County, they got a spot, it's $500 a day, you wanna send a kid there,
If you can get in.
right, well, I mean, when they're open, but if you're going, it's, I don't know, what is it, 206 or 205 to go. Some of these other places, and so that's where we end up going. Yeah, and I know we talked about it in the early on with the new jail, but when we did the finances, we never considered bringing in, as far as looking at the finances of the jail, bringing in people from other counties. We figured if we had that opportunity, that might make things go a little easier, but I'm sorry that it came across that we were banking on. We're gonna make money on bringing in other inmates from other counties. I mean, some of it, I think, in this case, is that the way they have to, and I was so fluent with jail terms, I can't remember them now, but the different classifications of people have made it difficult at times to be able to have openings where you could just bring in anybody and put them in with others. So I think that's why there's been some.
And from my understanding, they do have some people from other counties, but we have had, it's more of an exchange rather than.
We've sent them one.
So we sent them one that maybe couldn't be housed around other people and they exchanged.
Yeah.
So it's still keeping us from having to pay that farming out amount that they were.
For me, the other
previously
cost savings too is just what we are currently paying for the facility to not be used.
Yeah.
But yeah, that to me is the thing, Vicky, that again, Jefferson County is not in the business of operating. This is not our business, so to speak. If this is indeed utilized for a juvenile facility, but what we are currently paying for electric for, maybe just over $50,000.
Yeah, sure.
And insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously that, being a savings as well.
So as far as maintenance, who would be over the would we have to get another maintenance person, or would it be under the umbrella of the courthouse?
Yeah, I don't think there was anything.
I think it's, we're responsible for the maintenance, aren't we?
Huh?
We're responsible for the
I
maintenance.
also think there's an investment in our community.
If we can get them down there, then they don't go over the hopefully.
But I'm not just thinking about investment in the builders, thinking of investment in our citizens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yes,
The impact of right.
Oh, I see, but
Before
before they go
to the.
yes, where they go to the jail.
See, we're saying we can hold the juvie for 6 hours. So scenario, they get called and they have to pick him up at 2. So here they are all afternoon trying to find a place to put him. It may be 6 o'clock or 6:30 and hey, we got 2 guys tell city and go. And then if Mo says, I want to see him at 10 o'clock in the morning, down and back, unless they can release him to.
That, after our last meeting, I had spoke to Judge,
Good.
and talked to him about it, and he was had positive comments about it. And then I think there was someone else on the council that talked to Judge Mode.
I did.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ray spoke to Judge Mode, and
I
You got-
forwarded the information that he
Yeah.
provided.
Yeah, he gives the favorable comments on having it here. So,
So maintenance wise, I'll reach out to Josh to see what
Yeah.
part of that.
I think there is some mention of maintenance right here. I mean,
It is on the update. on page 4, it talks about the renovation about,
Yeah, basic safety and cleanliness. and
Right, but
improvement.
Yeah, continued maintenance, like if in 2 years, an ACU.
actually it's on page 2, my bad.
But we wouldn't be in charge of general cleaning and that.
No, but like if they had a water leak, we'd have to fix it or,
Right.
insured.
They have their own jail management system vendor, I believe.
Okay.
Now, we were gonna expand too in time, right? I mean, what's the capacity down there? I know we're gonna start with 8 and 8, but were we talking about
40.
40? Is
He
what-
said he could-
40 was the number I
We
remember.
could get up to 40 very easily.
Is it compared to his Evansville facility has 40, he said
But
the average 30.
This came at the recommendation, what's it, 3 ladies, I can't remember, but from the state, they said start off small. Said you got good bones there, but just start off small and work your way up, so.
Is there any possibility for additional funds through, the state of Indiana on? I know they're housing a lot of different people in different prisons and stuff. Is there any funding available that
I
you know of?
would doubt it the way the state's doing, but that's
I
just
don't know,
me.
but we can ask, cause I'm sure Josh would know, cause he deals with the state quite a bit.
And then the local foundations, we could check into them.
Yeah. Talk with Bill Barnes, he may be able to do something, but I'm like you, I think Bethany'd probably be our best line of sight.
But yeah, I think it's definitely worth starting those conversations.
I'm just wondering if they've kept track of trips, distances, wear and tear. Have we had to add an extra officer or more manpower just to accommodate?
I think they just
Trip.
pull one out of the load, if you wanna know the truth.
Right.
You know, there you
There's a
got,
burn rate that you don't necessarily, we're paying for.
and you've got 2
Whether
officers
it's second,
that
third.
are out of the county doing,
Yeah, and
Could
they're
be
already
doing-
pretty lean, and
Yeah,
now they're out of the
yeah.
county for all day, pretty much.
and more chance for an accident or something. I mean, it can happen.
I do
We
think,
can talk to the sheriff's department and find out what
yeah,
those.
it's especially if we were looking at possible funding from something, an organization.
And Ben and Laura probably could get them.
Yeah, where they may wanna know how many total trips in
Right.
calendar year 2025 did your officers make? How many estimated man hours? Mileage, just, again, when we look at share expense, we know what's been asked of us as far as current budget and then
Vehicles.
additional appropriation, but yeah, vehicle wear and tear. I mean, we just may need some of that supported data potentially.
I can email Laura and Ben to see if they can start
Okay.
compiling that.
Thanks.
That'd be great.
Judge Monk kind of indicated that, boy to girl ratio is about 4 or 5 to 1 girl. 4 or 5 boys to every 1 girl. So that had me questioning the 8 beds on the female side versus,
Well, he would know, oh, you mean Josh Nichols?
Yeah.
Josh Nichols would know though, the state requirement to run the juvenile facility.
But I think that that's probably the starting point because the girls' side wouldn't grow then, and then you would grow
It's
on
probably only
the.
32 days before it's over
Yes,
with.
Right.
But I think
So
I
you
mean,
would
it-
establish the girl wing and then grow the male.
Oh, I see what you're saying, right? I see.
But I mean, the way,
Men.
what it is in Jefferson County right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I mean, just this physical setup of making up these two, the male and the female side,
Right,
it would be difficult in the one to break it up
right. I understand.
beyond that, but yeah,
I understand.
to make it just 4 and then the other 4 male, but. Cause there were some windows we're gonna have to glaze over cause you can look through down to the area below and we talked about.
Do the one-way
Yeah.
one-way visual, like up at the jail, yeah. And like I said, they're more stringent on the juvenile code and requirement they are than the inmates at the jail.
To me, I don't necessarily see from, or hear from both these bodies that there's a lot of resistance. None of us want to do it, but, I guess just kind of what are the next steps then, you know, can we get even a little better firm number versus?
Yeah, we need to get that firm number.
$500 estimate, yeah, you know, we see any of us can reach back out to Mr. Nichols if we have additional questions, but, and I'm not trying to bypass the vote and speak for anybody else, because we could certainly bring it to that, but I guess the good thing is it does sound like, most everybody it's needed and valuable use of the facility and a good model and mindset. Kind of like somebody saying, is Jefferson County, we're gonna run a campground? No, but we can help get the space ready, and because we know the need is there. If somebody else
desire is
can
there.
take it on. I know, very different example, but
No, you're right. Yeah, so, I mean,
About $500,000 is to destroy it. You know, just to demolish it, so it's not
No.
gonna be done with it.
Put about 1.5 million on top of that.
Really?
Oh, really?
To
Yeah, that's
demolish
right,
that,
right,
all that
yeah.
steel and concrete, I would hate to even think.
Yeah.
What a contractor's fee would be on.
I'm sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no.
So
But,
the
yeah.
contractor that we have bid from. You
We
know.
tentatively have one from, Tim Breeding, T-Tom Breeding.
Tom.
But he broke his down in pieces and they can vary. Of course, when he first looked at it, it was a mess and it's all cleaned up now. So that would be scrubbed off the top. The cleanup.
Be the bidding agency, right?
Yeah, that's one, and then we were
And
trying
then
to get
Bumper
one.
Johnson, I've taken them through. They're supposed to be getting something back here.
Bumper,
Mhm.
okay, cause he did this building.
Yes, he's done quite a bit of work, did logistics building and stuff out there for us, so very reputable guy, so. It'd be
You guys
nice to
Try to
keep,
get three? Are you guys gonna try to get three, or are you just gonna?
we can try, I mean,
Do you have another guy you want us to? That's,
No, I'm just-
no, that's the thing, I
I
mean.
like keep it local, I mean,
Oh,
regardless,
absolutely.
I mean, cause it'll just be put back into the community, so.
100%, I
yeah.
agree with
I
you.
mean, I had seen there on Clifty Drive that IFM, whatever, something field maintenance group was gonna do something, but now the building's for sale, so I guess they're not gonna do anything. I like another group in town to at least get a bid from, so.
I definitely wanna keep it local, but I just figured the more.
Right, I agree. I mean, if you, and I'm not opposed, but if you.
No, I'm
So
not
if you
either.
know
If you got an
something-
idea, let us know,
So,
and if you get somebody in there that lowballs it, then they do a horrible job, so there you are back to square one again, so.
So would it be the contractor's responsibility to keep these dates and for his completion?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how that works?
They kind of write the contract and you
Yeah.
stay with them about it.
right. I mean, it's, you know, it's not, I guess that there are some, and I'm trying to think of the things that we talked about doing. I mean, we gotta take the bunk beds and make them single beds, so someone's gonna have to go in there and cut off those posts. There's gotta be new upgrades in the cameras, and the security systems. There's some things in the shower facility for both or for just the female? that
Both,
had-
we had to,
Have to-
build a sharp stub wall and put a blind or doors or something for, privacy, which is, that's pretty minor, really.
Right,
Kitchen had to be clean, which they have companies that'll come in and chemically clean all that stainless steel, so. That's something no local contractor's gonna have, so they're gonna have to subcontract that, that's just no way around it, but it's gotta be done, just stuff like that, that's time consuming to get everybody on board and same page and.
so,
Math and chemical might be able to help on locating you somebody that can do that.
Yep,
So. I'll mention that because I know they have a lot of clients that they sell that
mhm.
kitchen cleaning.
Terry Willis, Terry,
Oh,
he went around and did all that, so he'd be good to
yeah.
point in that direction.
the first date on their, the projection for, and hope for phase one was, by January 13th. Obviously, this is, proposal, so that's soon, that's next Tuesday. That included kind of the budget approval, some facility work authorization, looks like, there's additional information. And there's utilities fees and then, yeah, obviously. In this initial gradient, yeah, cause just,
Well, I think,
we did move things forward.
yeah, see if we can get that the other estimate. And then if we can get that to you by the time of your meeting, then that's the 13th, right?
Right,
Next Tuesday, yeah.
then maybe we would have something to.
Vote on and move
Vote on.
forward, yeah.
Well, the thing about it, there's so much to be done. There can be several entities in there working at the same time. Like before there's a painting in the update, one guy could be painting on this end while they're cutting the bunks and doing all that and then trade off, you know, and in the kitchen, if they're cleaning it up, they're not gonna interfere with anybody else, so. That may speed things up somewhat if we get, you know, rolling that good on it.
So this will come up to vote at the next, our meeting, January meeting.
Hope.
Well, which we're shooting for, try to get that other budget or the other estimate and then.
Bobby, can you get me in that? I'd like to walk through the old jail.
I would have to have a dollar amount to advertise for that. So they would have to actually vote
Okay.
for the or like the money part at the February at this point.
So could we vote to move forward and then approve the
Yes.
budget at the?
Yes.
Okay.
March.
You could vote to move
At the
forward.
February, I mean, yeah,
Actual finance in the February.
okay.
So you'd still need a hard and fast figure for that though, right? You couldn't ballpark it.
I would, well. Yeah, I would need at least a number 2 weeks before the February meeting.
So we voted to move forward in January, then we can,
Yeah.
have that number.
Have the vote for February.
And maybe by February, we'd have, a little better idea of, obviously, those two suggested and well-known local funding options possibly. Community Foundation of Bethany Legacy, there could be some discussion then within prior to that February meeting. Another community foundation, it is very, very rare that any special projects outside of their traditional funding window. And the Women's Giving Circle funding window, which this not fall under that area. Yeah, it's very, very rare that something is funded outside that their window of typical cycling. But Bethany Legacy does honor some of those special projects, regardless of timing. Urgency, I'm not voting by their decision maker, but I do think it's a good use.
And as we go through the process, there's somebody gonna be reporting to the commissioners or the council monthly, correct? Is that what it says here? So we can kind of step by step oversight check.
Yeah, and it gives us time to ask Josh if he knows of any state funding opportunities that are out there or federal. So,
I think when we asked that question last month, he said that there were. I mean, I don't think he said that there were a lot, but
He
he
mentioned,
didn't allude
he
to that.
mentioned one or two, didn't he? I thought
Yeah,
would
it
be a
didn't seem
good,
like that there was a lot. There
Right.
were some.
good target.
So then that made me feel like we could seek out some local stuff. That's where I was kind of.
you know, finding out the cycle times for those other sources, because oftentimes they're not, oh, they're due tomorrow, or they're
Yeah,
not due for
yeah.
6 months, I mean.
And that's where I think that we could use his knowledge of the facility and how it's run and how important it is to keep that in your own community, along with our knowledge of the fiscal part of it, to make a presentation to whoever we would seek for their support, to make a presentation. That would be really nice.
We could stay local to begin with in the first phase.
Sure.
And then seek grants as we go along and through the various phases. Because like you said, the turnover, it's gonna be several months before we get accepted or rejected for any grants. So that process is lengthy, but we could start local, Bethany Legacy.
And I believe I had in my notes about 185,000 is
Yeah.
what is
I can send out the exact amount on that, what we
From
have.
ARP remainder.
One thing in our favor, it's winter time, so contractors can't build houses. I mean, like they could if it was summer months and we'd be put off. So that might speed things up too.
Woodside work. Yep.
In February, they get a lot done in February.
You'd be surprised how quickly it would move along once they actually get started. I know there was a couple places, glass had to be replaced and then like that film Super Shine could do that for us, the one-way film or whatever you wanna call it.
Mhm. Yes,
Should we have another joint meeting in February or the end of January? What's your recommendation on that? Just so that we have like a cohesive kind of, we know what's going on and what are your thoughts on that?
I would say in February, we should have some answers to questions that
Okay.
we can do that. If it's, we can have a joint meeting or we can just be there at your meeting and talk about it at that point.
I think, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, maybe before our meeting in January or in February.
Wait a minute,
But no,
back
up there.
That's like tomorrow,
That's,
yes.
come to your meeting
Oh,
that
okay.
first week of February so that we can be completely knowledgeable before
Sure,
we take a vote. Would that be sensible?
we should have.
February fifth.
5th at 5 o'clock. Well.
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to. Have a guy crawling up the hill on the,
Yeah, it's for Dave to be here. So.
yeah, I mean, they, yeah.
Josh.
By the way,
They recorded everything.
as far as hard, fast numbers.
Definitely.
By then, they'll have theirs.
Make a motion to adjourn?
We're just focusing.
Do I have
You
anything
said
else?
February fifth, right?
Ready to adjourn?
Anybody have anything else? Any other comments, questions? You got one, May, I can
No.
tell.
Well, I mean-
It's like,
Well, yeah, there's just gears moving. That don't mean anything's gonna come
oh,
out.
come on, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
8 o'clock maybe or something? Sometimes it takes us that long.
No, I usually
Yeah.
think of it about 11.
We'll re-adjourn I got all y'all's contact information.
Yes,
If
you do.
I'm going down the road and it occurs to me that I forgot something, can we all come back together
Oh,
in 15, 20 minutes?
Absolutely.
You can call.
Call me.
Oh, you darling.
For abuse.
So I do have one question. Josh, is he planning on, coming to the facility when it opens and being here present for a period of time?
I mean, this contract that the consulting one was to start, like, when we're ready to go, he'll come and help guide us through this.
I know he said that, but he lives,
Well, he would, I mean, this is like, I'm quitting the job.
He's planning on moving, him and
Moving
his
here
family and
and-
everything.
He
He thinks it's,
that, I mean, he said that, but I just
That-
thought, well, maybe he said that for like a.
no,
Dramatic effect. No,
That's-
he's ready to move to Madison
he
and
thinks it's
take
that
this
good
on.
of an opportunity that he's gonna give up. I would call it security and come here.
Okay.
I mean, he feels that strongly about it, doesn't he?
All right,
Get a lot of faith in kind of impressed.
So he'll probably be the guy that.
I imagine he'll be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I just wanted to know that you guys really feel like he is going to move here and it's just not gonna be, I'm here to get it off. I saw that.
If he's not planning to, he better change what he.
But I thought,
But-
well, maybe he's, yeah.
He seemed very dedicated to it, to me, what I thought.
I see that,
I
but
mean, early on, we weren't sure, but I mean, he was like, yeah, I'm ready to someone else and we'll be.
And his wife's, she gonna move her business or give it up. She's got a
Okay.
business also, so,
So this is all
but they're both coming in the family, so
be remote?
no.
Okay, all right.
So just-
I get a real voice on the end of the phone.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Sure is not.
No, yeah, I know that,
It's a third floor, you know.
but, yeah, third floor. The townhouse. up
There we
there.
go, penthouse and townhouse.
Rent those,
Well,
Oh, no. Well, we
turn
can-
it into apartments if we wanted to.
Do what now?
For what rent goes in this county, we probably could turn it into apartments if we.
Yeah,
wanted to.
$1,500 a pop.
be cheap.
Seriously.
I don't wanna go into renter. I don't wanna be a slumlord.
We can do that sidebar.
Seems to be high end.
I something, but I'd say.
If you ladies and gentlemen don't have anything, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.